most of the intensity, it seems like people have heard about what's going on, and all the overpasses that we've seen have been lined with...
Why don't you let me fix you some of this new Mococo drink? All natural cocoa beans from the upper slopes of Mountain Nicaragua, no artificial sweeteners.
They like to taste the tree sweet because it's always naturally sweet. As sweet as an orange right from the tree, right?
Yes, sir.
All publicity is good publicity.
No such thing as bad publicity, sweetheart.
Read the article, babe.
Gaining 2,003 yards in a 14-game schedule is substantially more impressive than Eric Dickerson's best season, or Barry Sanders' best season, or Terrell Davis's best season.
Hello, and welcome to Sports Vaults, presented by Data Productions, uncovering the untold, lost, and forgotten files of the sports world. O.J. Simpson, the Juice, the first 2,000-yard rusher in NFL history at the age of 26. And doing it in a 14-game schedule. Tall, dark, and handsome to many, the superstar of superstars. The general public stopped seeing him as a real, tangible human being, which led to his villainous stage being more profitable than his hero stage. Let's take a look at the monetary numbers O.J. Simpson helped generate in his two-staged hero-villain career.
In conclusion, we think it's fair to say that the 1970 Chevrolet Nova is a lot better automobile than O.J. Simpson. Besides, the Nova costs a lot less to run.
Let's take a look at the monetary numbers O.J. helped generate in his two-staged hero-villain career. Let's start with the villain side. O.J. may have did a commercial with Chevrolet, but he absolutely put Ford Motors back on the map, helping dwindling sales in the 1990s and saving the soon-to-be discontinued Ford Bronco. After first-degree murder charges were filed against Simpson in June 1994, he and his friend Al Callings climbed into a white Bronco and led police on the infamous low-speed chase that was carried on all of the major television stations. About 95 million viewers tuned in. A year later, Advertising Age magazine reported the publicity results in the spurt in Bronco sales for the first 5 months of 1994. Sales totaled 13,150, up 12.4% from a year earlier. For the last 7 months, a 34.3% uptick is recorded, from selling 24,217 cars, totaling to 37,367 units of the Ford Bronco being sold, which were 7,000 units more than the year before. The original MSRP was $21,515. Times the MSRP by the 37,367 units sold comes out to be $803.9 million in generated sales. Nearly 2/3 of the sales come out after the murders. 24,217 units times the MSRP comes out to be $521 million. One could confidently say that the O.J. chase helped Ford Motors bring in over $500 million. Even if you want to get very specific and take the difference from year to year, those 7,000 cars still total up to be $150 million. What's eyebrow raising is that the last Bronco rolled off the assembly line on June 12th, 1996 at the Michigan truck plant. Exactly 2 years on the same day of O.J. Simpson's ex-wife being murdered, June 12th, 1994. Now, that's a very eerie coincidence. Then, Ford Motors raises eyebrows again when bringing back the Ford Bronco.
Introducing the return of a legend.
On the disgraced football star's 73rd birthday, Ford Motors planned to unveil the 2021 Ford Bronco on July 9th. A Ford representative said that the launch date was purely coincidental. They ultimately pushed back the date to July 13th Do you believe this to be a coincidence, or an economic ritual being played out by the automobile giant Ford Motors to generate the most sales possible at the expense of O.J. Simpson's villainous image? Was this the biggest subliminal messaging automobile advertisement in commercial history? The news coverage created tremendous product awareness. The point of advertising is constant exposure, but the scope of this with the O.J. trials went beyond just product awareness. For the Bruno Magli shoes, the president of Bruno Magli America, Peter Gruderich, said sales rose sharply after the first Simpson trial. In 1996, sales were up 35%, and during the first few months of 1997, sales were up 50%. Although the Simpson case was a key reason for the sales boost, the company had discontinued the Lorenzo model, the shoe Simpson reportedly owned. One reason was an attempt to sever the company's image with Simpson. Also, many consumers must have agreed with Simpson's description of the model as an ugly-ass shoe, because only 299 pairs were sold size 12 in Simpson's size.
Bruno Magli makes shoes that look like the shoes they had in court that's involved in this case. I would have never worn those ugly-ass shoes.
You thought those were ugly-ass shoes?
Yes.
Why were they ugly-ass shoes?
Because in my mind, they were.
What about them was ugly, Mr. Simpson?
The look of them, the style of them.
What about the style?
I don't know, they were ugly to me. Aesthetically, I felt that they were ugly, and I guess beauty is an eye to the beholder, and to me, they were ugly shoes.
Aris Isotoner gloves became the focus of intense publicity during the criminal trial, culminating in defense lawyers Johnny L. Cochran's line during closing arguments.
It doesn't fit. If it doesn't fit, you must acquit.
When the trial began, Aris was in the process of sampling focus groups to determine the name recognition of the company, said spokeswoman Nancy Young. We discovered that as a result of the trial, the name recognition for Aris was much stronger, she said. All of a sudden, Aris got extensive attention as a glove manufacturer. Even though we manufacture a number of other products, it certainly got our name out there. I imagine there's been some increase in sales, though exactly how much of this is attributed to the case, I can't tell you. Approximately 150 million people tuned in to watch the O.J. trials. Add in the 95 million from the Ford Bronco car chase, you have 245 million Americans to have O.J. and his life seared into their mind. With the population being 266 million in the year of 1995, the year the trial ended, 92% of America had contact with O.J. Simpson and his transgressions, which meant all the products that were allegedly, inadvertently being advertised. From Sony, Rolex, Rolls-Royce, the DNA company, O.J. did not overtly profit off this mega circus act of marketing in the second stage of his mainstream media acting career. Now that we got the good, the bad stuff out of the way and how the big corporations squeezed the juice after O.J. vs. the People trial, let's get to his hero saga that preceded the villain one and see how much money he actually made off his persona. His 5-year, $650,000 contract to kick off his NFL career was the largest paid to any athlete at the time. In 1976, he re-signed with the Bills. The agreement reportedly was in the form of 3 one-year contracts with a total worth more than $2.5 million. Simpson had 2 years and an option year left on his old contract. Let's say, ballpark figures, O.J. made around $5 million in the NFL during the 1970s, which would be around $38 million today with the adjusted inflation in 2022.
I used to run through airports. Now I fly through them.
O.J. Simpson signed a 3-year contract for $200,000 a year with Hertz in 1976 for Hertz's $12.6 million campaign. In the first 3 quarters of 1976, net profits totaled $532.6 million, 47% higher than a year before. The economy was reviving, of course, but Hertz says the campaign has played an important role in attracting customers, all thanks to O.J. Simpson.
Rent a Ford from Hertz.
A superstar in rent-a-car.
Right.
O.J. Simpson generated over $300 million in box office numbers off 8 credited box office films. There are reports that O.J. is worth about $3 million today in 2022. But the fact that he would have to pay the Goldman family $33 million in damages to the death of their son Ron, O.J. has not been active in trying to work, effectively being trapped or have his money siphoned from him. He gets to keep his pensions from the NFL and the acting guild.
Simpson is facing another battle from the estates of Nicole Brown Simpson and Ron Goldman. Simpson found not guilty of murder in the trial of the century, but owing more than $60 million after being found liable for their deaths.
Whatever we can take from him will be a measure of punishment.
Simpson reportedly racked up around $500,000 from his NFL pension alone while in prison, but that money legally untouchable.
What's your take on these stats? Was O.J.'s celebrity unjustly used to make an extra dollar off his back? How badly was the juice squeezed? Let me know in the comment section below. Like and subscribe for more investigation content like this. Join my Patreon today for only $5 to receive a monthly esoteric documentary on your favorite sports athletes and events. Real, raw, uncut, and uncensored without the limitations of YouTube. Join today to see the other side of the sports world.